What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Blab, who is going to be on Koa'Ki Meiru Firefist Hands, versus Birdman Omega, who is going to be on Hat. And I believe this was part of a Pleiades payout, if I'm not mistaken. And in general, both of these players are names that we've seen before on the channel and in the higher level competitive scene, so hopefully this will be a good match, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here it looks like, they're having a little bit of a conversation before getting started, and Blab is going to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Soul Charge, Duality, Upstart Goblin, Urnite, and Reckoned Power, and on the other side we see Soul Charge, Ice Hand, Mermail, Duality, and Bottomless, and here Blab will get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Soul Charge, and let's see what they choose to do, going for Upstart right away, and luckily they did. Getting that copy of Diamond Core is really strong here, and from here they are going to activate Duality, so not deck thinning or anything with the Diamond Core first, and here revealing a Ice Hand, Fire Hand, and Tenki, and they're going to take a second to think, and taking the copy of Fire Hand. So since, you know, they went for the Duality, it is going to be a little bit of a slower turn one for them, so taking that just really allows them to pretty much have a backup plan in case Birdman does establish a board right away. Then the Fire Hand can hopefully deal with some of that and give them some defense. After that, we are going to see the Diamond Core adding the copy of Iron Core, which means that the Urnite can also have a chance to be live on the following turn, as well as the copy of Reckoned Power, which is just an insane card on its own. But here we are seeing 3 set and the Fire Hand set over to Birdman Omega, who gets a copy of Dark Hole, which would be a perfect out for that Fire Hand if they had fired it right away. But here we are going to see Duality, revealing Duality, Deprison, and Call the Haunted, and they are going to take the Dimensional Prison, given, you know, they already know that Blab is on the hands. And here we do see the Dark Hole fired right away, which means the Fire Hand can't float, and then Mermail is going to be summoned, searching a copy of Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. After that, just swinging in for 16 damage, and here they're going to set 3, so maybe we are going to see that copy of Reckoned Power, which we are, which, if you guys aren't familiar with, this card is really strong. It says reveal 1 Iron Core of Koa'Ki Meiru in your hand, destroy all face down spell and trap cards your opponent controls. And luckily for Blab, none of these are artifact cards or anything like that, so they just get completely blown out there. And from here, Blab draws into a copy of Tenki, and they can kind of just go off here, summoning Urnite, revealing the copy of the Iron Core, special summoning a copy of Ice. So choosing to play it a little bit slower here. Are they thinking a Soul Charge play maybe, given they're going for Lavalval Chain, detaching Urnite, and sending Bear? And they are going to go for a Soul Charge play, bringing back all 3 of their monsters that are in graveyard. And from here, Urnite can activate again, given it is a soft once per turn, special summoning a copy of Crusader, activating Tenki, and getting a Wolf Bark. So now the Wolf Bark is another card that is good follow-up, using the Bear, getting rid of the Tenki, and popping the Mermail. And after that, overlaying into a copy of Dweller and passing, revealing the copy of Wolfbark again, just for the Urnite maintenance cost. Here, Birdman gets that copy of Soul Charge. They are going to fire it right away, going for the Mermail, given that is their only monster in graveyard, and it's going to hit the dead Soul Charge here. Well, not dead, but kind of bluff Soul Charge. And after that, maybe we'll see the Ice Hand summoned and an Exciton play, which we actually are going to see right here. And here the Fire Hand on Destruction is going to be able to activate, popping the copy of Exciton and summoning a copy of Ice Hand. And Birdman is not in a good position here. We are going to see Blab draw another Ice Hand, summon the Wolfbark, bring back the copy of Bear, overlay into a Tiger King. Tiger King can then set a Tenki, activating Tenki, getting the copy of Urnite here, switching the Ice Hand to attack, and just pushing in for a lot of damage. Now, at this point, Birdman does have access to be able to go into another Soul Charge play if they really want, given there are 2 4s, but it's definitely not in the greatest position. Main phase 2, we are seeing the Tiger King activated here, which I guess can be activated given even if the opponent doesn't have monsters here. And Birdman is unfortunately going to draw into that copy of Beagle Tack. And we are seeing the Soul Charge activated here, going for the Mermail and Ice Hand, popping the Tenki, overlaying maybe into a defensive 101, which we are going to see. And here they are going to go and take the copy of Tiger King, setting the Beagle Tack over to Blab, who gets a copy of Upstart Goblin. And honestly, this might just be the end of it if they go for, say, an Urnite play, and then from there they can go for something like a Black Ship of Corn or something, though at that rate they'd still have a little bit of light, or no, they'd take 1,000 and then that, so that would be a game. So maybe we'll see something like that depending on how much they respect this back row, which we do see them go and banish the copy of Diamond Core to prevent their Koa'Ki Meirus from being destroyed during this turn, I believe it is. Let me just double check. You can banish this card from your graveyard. For the rest of this turn, Koa'Ki Meiru monsters you control cannot be destroyed. Yeah. So doing that just to ensure this Urnite can go through, revealing the Iron Core, specialing a Crusader, and from here just going to battle phase. I guess that also, for the most part, works, going and attacking in for a bunch, so maybe we will just see a Cowboy play for game or something like that, and it looks like the Crusader is going to attack over the Honor Arc after the Ice Hand baited the last material on the 101, and then Crusader can add back the Urnite from graveyard, attacking in with Urnite, and then from here, main phase 2, do they have it? Going for the Cowboy, so that is going to be a game number 1 in Blab's favor. This time Birdman will get to start this second game out. Opening hands, we see DD Crow, Fiendish Chain, Tenki, Upstart Goblin, and Torrential. Not sure what's going on with the picture there. Same with the Sanctum on the other side. Fire Hand, Ice Hand, Ignition, and Dionea. And here Birdman will get a draw, getting a copy of Ice Hand. So this time they actually do see some relevant artifact cards, which is pretty solid. Here setting the Fire Hand and the 2 artifact cards, before passing it over to Blab, who gets another Fiendish Chain, I think that was there. Activating Upstart, getting the copy of Urnite, and from here, they're going to take a second to think, setting a few back row, and going to end phase, where Birdman is going to use that Ignition, hitting the Fiendish Chain, and setting a copy of Moral Tack, and then from there, they can go and activate the Sanctum, going for Beagle Tack, and then using the Beagle Tack, popping the Moral Tack. Maybe we'll see the Crow here, which we are going to see banishing the copy of Moral Tack, and then after that, Birdman draws for turn, getting a Call of the Haunted, flipping up the Fire Hand, and Torrential is going to be chained to that, so again, the Fire Hand won't be able to float, given that it has nothing to pop. After that, we just see Birdman actually go for the Dionea, so choosing to go for that over just summoning an Ice Hand here, I'm not entirely sure why they do that, actually. Like, I guess they're, because I feel like it's better to hold the Dionea if need be in case you see one of your Mermelios, but I guess here they're just wanting to put in a little more damage early on. I'm not entirely sure what they'd be afraid of there, because even if, you know, Blab had something like a hand of their own, just being able to go and pop the, you know, set that Blab had wouldn't have been too bad there. But anyways, here we do see the Call to Haunted set, and Blab draws a hand for turn, speaking of which, and let's see what they choose to do here. They are going to summon the Fire Hand, attack into the Dionea, and that's going to destroy the Fire Hand. Fire Hand can then pop the copy of Dionea and summon an Ice Hand. So that's sort of what I was mentioning there, where it almost made sense to go for an Ice Hand so they wouldn't get hit with something like that. And at that rate, they'd also be able to float into a Fire Hand as well as pop this back row, given this wasn't a chainable. But anyways, main phase 2, we are going to see Tenki activated, getting the copy of Bear, and over to Birdman, who gets a Breakthrough skill. After that, they are going to set it along with an Ice Hand, and back over to Blab, who gets another Urnite. Not seeing any Iron Core, unfortunately, this game so far. So let's see what they choose to do here, going to main phase and switching the Ice Hand to defense. So playing it a little slower, Birdman is going to draw a copy of Mermelio for turn, but chooses to set the Ice Hand again back over to Blab, who gets a copy of Reckon Power. Unfortunately, not the greatest card here, setting it back over to Birdman, who now gets a Ignition. They're going to choose to set it. So now we are getting into the grindier game where Blab draws into a copy of Soul Charge and just playing it slow again. Here, Birdman gets another Dionea here. They're going to activate Ignition, hitting the Reckon Power, setting a copy of Moral Tack, normal summoning Dionea, and that is going to be met with the Fiendish Chain, but then we are going to see Birdman use the Call of the Haunted to go for the Dionea, and there are no trap tricks, normal traps in Grave, or trap hole normal traps, my apologies, and we are just going to see the rank 4 made, going for a copy of Dweller, so now Birdman can start being aggressive, going to battle phase using Dweller, attacking over the Ice Hand, which won't be able to trigger, and then attacking in with double Ice Hand. Here, Blab gets a copy of Diamond Core, which is a good card, but let's see if it's too late. Getting the copy of Iron Core, and from here, they're going to take a second to think, banishing the Diamond Core, summoning Urnite, revealing the Iron Core, and Breakthrough Skill is going to be used on that. And so this is a little unfortunate, though. They do have the Soul Charge, which they are going to go for, going and bringing out the Fire and Ice Hand. And Blab's getting a little low on life. Let's see if they can turn it around. Going for a copy of Black Ship of Corn in defense, using the effect and getting rid of the Dweller. The Dweller is going to be chained to that, though. And over to Birdman, who gets another copy of Ignition, which, how many artifacts have they gone through so far? Just the Beagle Tack, the Moral Tack, and another set Moral Tack. So given they probably have at bare minimum another Moral Tack, and we are going to see a Black Ship of Corn made by Birdman using the effect and getting rid of the Fire Hand. Blab is only at 400 life. Normal summoning the Mermail, getting a copy of Bottomless, going to battle phase and running over the Black Ship before setting 2 back row over to Blab, who gets a copy of Tensu, which is actually a very interesting card in this situation. Normal summoning the Bear, that is going to get met with Bottomless. Then we do see the Tensu activate, but we know that Birdman has the Ignition, and from there, Blab is going to scoop it up. So this is going into a game number 3 where Blab will get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Diamond Core, Fire Hand, Ice Hand, and Reckon Power. So lots of hands in this match. And then on the other side, we are going to see Breakthrough Skill, Traptrix Mermail, Breakthrough Skill, Sanctum, my apologies, and Max C. And here Blab will get a draw. Getting that copy of Iron Core is really good because that means now this Diamond Core is able to search something like an Urnite if they really want to. Let's see if they choose to play it slow, which they are going to do, just setting the copy of Diamond Core, Reckon Power, and the Fire Hand. Very interesting to set the Diamond Core. But here, Birdman gets a double Cyclone for turn, normal summons Mermail, uses the effect, and gets a copy of Bottomless. After that, they are going to set 2 back row, and so I guess in this case, the reason they're playing it so slow is in case that Reckon Power is there, which is actually a pretty solid play there, given Blab does have the Reckon Power, which they are using and popping 2. Here, the copy of Sanctum will be able to trigger because it was destroyed by that Reckon Power, hitting the other back row, which is going to be that Diamond Core, hitting the back row, obviously, so in case this was a Fire Hand, which it is, wouldn't be able to pop the Mermail there, but here Blab will get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Crusader. From here, Blab is going to go to main phase, normal summon Crusader, flip up the copy of Fire Hand, and here the Crusader is going to attack over the Mermail, adding back the copy of Diamond Core, and then swinging in with the Fire Hand, main phase 2. Let's see what they choose to do. Overlaying for a 101. Now, obviously, Birdman could have dropped the Max C there if they really wanted to, but at the same time, Blab could have just chose not to Xyz summon here, but here we do see, because the Max C wasn't dropped, Blab going into a defensive 101 here, and after that activating the Diamond Core to get Urnite. So now they have Urnite and Iron Core as follow-up, as well as one of each of the hands, and Birdman is going to have to out this 101, and let's see what they do here, getting an Ignition for turn, which isn't bad, and they are going to choose to just set 4 back row at this point. Blab draws for turn, getting another Urnite, and let's see, here they're going to banish the Diamond Core, summon the Urnite, use the Urnite effect, revealing that copy of Iron Core, but it is going to be met with the Breakthrough Skill. So here it looks like Blab is just going to switch the 101 to attack and swing in for some damage, and Birdman is getting very low. They draw into a copy of Mermail, which they're just going to set over to Blab, who gets a Iron Core, and Urnite is going to activate here, revealing that Iron Core, and Maxi is going to be chained to it this time. And here going for a copy of Koa'Ki Meiru Ice, and Birdman gets a copy of Sanctum. So as long as they can make it to the next turn, they will be in at least a slightly better position. But here Blab is going to overlay into another copy of 101, and Birdman will get a draw, getting a copy of Blackhorn. And then from here, it looks like Breakthrough Skill is going to be activated on the copy of 101. And it looks like Birdman is just going to scoop it up. We see the Ignition and double Cyclone here. So unfortunately, without Blab putting any back row on the board, this copy of a double Cyclone just wasn't great. Yeah, because even if they had activated like anything there, like just having one back row would have made this ignition kind of live, and at this rate, you know, with the Birdman only having 2,000 life, one of these was definitely going to connect after getting over this set Mermail. So Blab takes that one with this really cool Koa'Ki Meiru Firefist hands deck. And yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays, whether you won or lost. If you thought the deck you or your opponent was playing was pretty cool, feel free to send that in. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.